big cheer went up when Chelsea got Lille once again. It was the best case scenario earlier. How pleased are you, though, that it's going to be Chelsea-Lille?
I'm delighted. I'm delighted, Lynsey. I really am. I'm delighted for both clubs. And it's going to be a real great game. And like I said, it's an opportunity, from a selfish point of view, it'll be an opportunity to see some old friends and go and experience the city again. It's you know, two clubs that genuinely I love playing for both of them. Again, Chelsea will have their eye will be on winning the trophy again, because that's where they're at. Lille, you know, is a fantastic club. It's a developmental club, so well run, and they'll be happy to get. They've got a huge European club coming to the town to play, and it's going to be it's easy to get to for the Chelsea fans. Straight on the Eurostar, so that'll be a fantastic atmosphere, and it's just going to be a real good game. And by the way, Lille are no. They're no bad side. They've got some good athletic players, some fantastic talent, well coached, and from their perspective, the players playing in Lille, they'll want to win the game, of course, but also it's a shop window. They all want to come and play in England. The Premier League is where it's at, so it's going to be a real great game.
Definitely. It's the only tie that is the same as the draw that took place earlier. So good news for you and for Chelsea there, I think. Let's talk about Man City up against Sporting. They drew Atletico earlier. Sporting, how does that compare? How pleased will City be?
Yeah, they'll be pleased. That's a decent draw. I think it's only Liverpool, really, that will be a little bit more disappointed, slightly more difficult tie. But Manchester City will be pleased. As we've said, you know, if they'd drawn Paris Saint-Germain, it would have been impossible, I think, because they were in the thing. But I think there's only Paris Saint-Germain in that side that the big English teams will be really worried about. Apart from that, there's different levels of difficulty, but in general, I think the English teams will look at them all and think, we should be getting through here. Manchester City, definitely no exceptions. Of course, they get the advantage of playing the second leg at home as well. Always helps, even though there's no away goals this season. But I think it always helps. So, yeah, Man City will be pleased.
They knocked City out 10 years ago out of the Europa League, but how much do you think they'll prefer Sporting to Villarreal?
Well, I mean, let's be honest, they'll be both. You know, obviously Sporting are a good side, but Man City on the day, they're far too strong for Sporting. With the utmost respect, and I think the Portuguese contingent at Manchester City will be delighted maybe to get a little trip back home. It's a great football club with a great stadium, good fans, but I think City, they'll be delighted. I think it's probably a slightly easier fixture than the Villarreal one.
Mm. And for Manchester United, it was set to be PSG earlier, so we thought Messi versus Ronaldo. A tough tie, though. Atletico Madrid, Ralf Rangnick up against Diego Simeone. It's a completely different challenge, this, isn't it? Completely
different proposition. And yet, the only people I think will be disappointed will be UEFA, because that tie, PSG... against Manchester United would have been mouth-watering. Messi against Ronaldo, that was a plum tie. But this one,
it could come later.
It could come later, and this one in its own right is going to be fascinating, because you're going to have two high-octane, high-tempo styles clashing. Diego Simeone, you know what that home ground's like. The fans will be on top of you. It's a great one. Ronaldo going back to a place where he haunted Atletico Madrid throughout his time when he was at Real. So many stories going on. So it's really good. I'm slightly disappointed to have missed out on the PSG Man United one. That would have been a nice one to sit down, get your slippers on and watch. But that one's a good game as well.
Quarterfinals, possibly.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Who knows? How good a tactical battle do you think that one will be?
Yeah, I mean, Simeone is one of the best managers in the world, isn't he? And he's done a quite staggering job over the years. I think it's a tough tie for Manchester United, but on the backdrop of having to play Paris Saint-Germain only a couple of hours ago, then I think, they'll take it. It's slightly easier than Paris Saint-Germain. Man City is slightly easier again. It's only Liverpool that have got a slightly harder one. And, of course, Chelsea have got the same. So, yeah, I think Manchester United's draw is probably about par in terms of difficulty level. And it's a game that could go absolutely either way. Atletico aren't at the top of their form at the minute, nor are Manchester United. So the next couple of months is going to be really important for which way that tie goes. Let's see what the form of the two teams are like leading up to that game. But at the minute, I don't see much between the two sides.
And Atletico put in a complaint to UEFA earlier because of the way that the draw went. They were up against Bayern Munich in that original draw. How do you think they'll feel going up against Manchester United at the moment?
Well, Bayern got an easier draw, didn't they? Playing Salzburg. Atletico got a tough draw. Probably slightly easier than playing Bayern, but playing United. You know, I think flip a coin. You know, obviously Joe mentioned the clash in styles, and Atletico play more defensive on the counter. But any team with, João Felix and Luis Suarez, I mean, they've got some world-class players at the top of the pitch, one of the best goalkeepers in the world in Jan Oblak. So slightly easier for United, but still really, really difficult, this fixture. Flip a coin, who goes through?
How different a Manchester United do you think we're going to see come February, Joe? Because so far there's been some changes, but they're still not convincing. Of course, it's only been a couple of games.
I think we'll see a vastly different team. The way Ralph Rangnick sets his team up with this high pressing, it's not something you can get an emotional response overnight. The players will try to do it, but they still won't have the physical capabilities to do it because he needs to change. He needs 6, 8, 10 weeks to change his training methods, and then you need to... It's really... You drill this system into... I've played against their types of teams. You drill a system in. There's non-negotiables in the pressing, and you have to be super fit to play it. Hence the reason all of the Red Bull teams, they're young teams, they're aggressive. And so to get the players there at Manchester United to do it, it's going to take time to build up their core fitness. So I think by February, March, Manchester United will be peaking, and you'll see that style more. It'll be more clear. You're seeing glimpses of it now, but you'll be seeing it more clear in 2-3 months.
And Liverpool finished their group stage against AC Milan. They're heading back to San Siro against Inter, Michael. Do you think they're going to find Inter a much tougher prospect?
Yeah, it's a slightly worse tie than the original one, but it's still a tie that Liverpool should be confident about, let's say. Another team with great European history. San Siro is an unbelievable stadium. I think it's a nice trip for the fans and the players to play in an iconic stadium.
Yeah.
But I don't think Italian football is just quite as strong as it was a couple of years ago. And I think that Liverpool are still clear favourites for that one. So as much as they'll be slightly disappointed there was a redraw, I don't think it'll be totally toys out the pram because they still should go through.
Yeah, they are top of Serie A at the moment and impressing under Inzaghi, Inter, Owen.
Yeah, they've had a great season under Inzaghi, and I think they've got a player in Lautaro Martinez who obviously partnered Lukaku, who would be perfect in the Premier League. So he'll be a big threat for them. But they played some really good stuff, good attacking football. Edin Dzeko is in the side as well. The midfield is really good, and Brozovic and Barella. So I don't think it's going to be easy for Liverpool, but I agree with Mo. I think they're still favourites without question.
And of the other ties, we're not going to get PSG Man United, but we are going to get a blockbuster game in PSG Real Madrid. That really stands out, doesn't it, Joe, from the other ties?
It does, Linz, but it's Real Madrid are not the Real Madrid of 2-3 years ago. I think PSG will win the game. I think they'll win it comfortably. The only teams I think PSG would struggle against would have been the English sides because of the intensity and the quality. I think Real Madrid, they're an aging side. They've still got the fabulous Luka Modric pulling strings in midfield, but I think PSG will have enough legs and the front three. They're breathtaking when they put it together, and that's why everyone wants to avoid it. We all talk about the holes in them tactically and how they're not balanced, but any given day, any of the front three has one of their better games, and they're scoring 1 or 2 goals and they're beating you. So they're the most interesting team left in the tournament, and I for one think they'll take care of Real Madrid quite comfortably.
They're looking better. They are looking better than they did at the start of the season, aren't they? On a decent run now. They beat Atletico in the derby yesterday. And Carlo Ancelotti at the helm, Michael, he delivered La Decima for them. He's won it 3 times. He's got the know-how in this competition.
Yeah,
Could be a big factor.
We all know the pedigree of a team, the history of a team, of managers, of players. They've all been there, seen it, done it. I would just love that second leg to be in a full house at the Bernabeu. Then there could be something different. But, of course, we are where we are, and it's still a great glamour tie, with 2 real successful teams. Of course, Paris Saint-Germain still to be successful in Europe, but they're getting closer and closer and closer. Who knows? Could be their season. I've put the mockers on it all season, all this year. I've been saying Paris Saint-Germain can't win it, but So I'm going to stay like that, but they might sneak past Madrid.